Hey everyone. Today we're diving straight into one of the most powerful ways to boost your IELTS score, mastering sentence variety in your academic writing.
So, are you feeling stuck? Like you've hit a wall with your IELTS writing score and you just can't seem to break through? I get it, it's super frustrating. But what if I told you the answer is actually simpler than you think? It's not always about cramming more vocabulary. Nope, it's about something more fundamental, the very bones of your writing.
Yep, you heard that right. The solution is all in your sentence structure. A really common weakness that holds so many people back is just the lack of variety. When you learn to use different sentence types, you're signaling to the examiner that you can do more than just list facts. You can connect complex ideas. And that's how you unlock those higher band scores.
All right, let's get into it. We're starting at level 1, the foundation. It's like building a house, right? You can't put up the walls before you have a solid foundation. So first things first, we need to totally master the basics, and that means really understanding simple sentences.
So what is a simple sentence anyway? Well, think of it as the most basic building block of writing. It's got to have 3 key parts: a subject, a verb, and, this is crucial, it has to express one single complete thought. Let's look at some super clear examples. Check this out. Smoking is an unhealthy habit. Simple, right? Subject is smoking, verb is. The thought is totally complete. Or how about this one? The crime level has reduced in the town. And another. The floods ruined many villages. Each one of those, it's a standalone, complete idea. Boom.
Now this is a really important point. It is all about the structure, not the length. A simple sentence can actually be pretty long. Don't let that fool you. What really matters, what makes it simple in a grammatical sense, is that underlying structure. One subject, one verb, one complete idea. That's it.
And this is exactly why we're talking about this. There's a big warning here. If your essay is just a string of simple sentences one after another, you're basically putting a ceiling on your score. To really impress the examiner and show them you can build a sophisticated argument, you've absolutely got to move on to more advanced structures.
Okay, ready to level up? Let's move on to level 2. Now we're going to start connecting those simple ideas. This is where your writing starts to get more interesting, more fluid. We're talking about building compound sentences.
So what's a compound sentence? Super simple, really. It's just 2 simple sentences glued together. The fancy grammar term for these is independent clauses, which just means each part could be its own sentence. And what's the glue? A special little connecting word called a coordinating conjunction.
Okay, so how on earth are you supposed to remember all these little connecting words? Well, lucky for us, there's an awesome little trick, a memory hack. All you need to do is remember one single word.
And that magic word is FANBOYS. How cool is that? It's a fantastic little acronym where each letter stands for one of the 7 main conjunctions: for, and, nor, but, or, yet, and so. Seriously, burn this into your brain. These are going to be your best friends for building compound sentences.
All right, enough with the grammar rules. Let's see this thing in action. That's the best way to learn, right? We're going to take one of our simple sentences from before and give it a serious upgrade.
Remember this one? The floods ruined many villages. That's our first complete thought. Now, let's add a second one. Many people are without a home. We can link them with our FANBOYS friend and. And just like that, you get the floods ruined many villages and many people are without a home. See how much more information and flow that has?
Okay, pro tip alert. This is a big one. You see that tiny little comma right before the word and? That is not optional. It's a non-negotiable rule. So here's the takeaway. Whenever you use a FANBOYS word to connect 2 complete sentences, you absolutely must put a comma right before it. Don't forget that.
All right, let's crank it up. It's time to unlock the top-tier scores. Welcome to level 3, what I like to call the high score level. This is the big one, folks. It's all about crafting complex sentences. This is the structure that really shows the examiner you have a strong command of English and can talk about how different ideas relate to each other.
So, what makes a sentence complex? It's a mix and match. You take one independent clause, our complete thought that can stand on its own, and you add one or more dependent clauses to it. And a dependent clause is basically an incomplete thought. Let's make sure we're totally clear on this difference because it's key. Independent clause, it's a complete thought. It's strong. It can stand all by itself. But a dependent clause, well, it's kind of needy. It's an incomplete thought. It might have a subject and a verb, but it just can't be a sentence on its own. It leaves you hanging like,
And then what?
See what I'm talking about? Check out these examples. If I just said to you, because it costs dearly, you'd be like, what costs dearly? Or if I said, unless there is enough investment, you'd be waiting for the rest of the sentence. They feel unfinished because, well, they are unfinished. They need that main independent clause to lean on.
So, the secret to spotting these dependent clauses is to look for the word they start with. These are called subordinate conjunctions, another fancy term I know. But just think of them as signal words. When you see words like because, unless, since, or although, it's a giant flashing sign that says, hey, an incomplete idea is coming up. It needs to be attached to something.
And you know what? Building one is actually pretty easy. It's a simple two-step process. Step 1, start with your main point, your independent clause. Something like, governments are reluctant to conduct a moon expedition program. Okay, solid start. Step 2, tack on your dependent clause to add more info, like the reason why, because it costs dearly. Put them together and you've got one powerful, sophisticated, complex sentence.
And here's the bottom line, the most important takeaway. The source material is crystal clear on this. This is the single most important sentence structure you need to master. Why? Because when you use complex sentences correctly, you're not just writing. You're showing the examiner you can think analytically. You're showing relationships between ideas. That is how you get a noticeable jump in your band score. This right here is your key to success.
Okay, let's wrap this up and bring it all home. We've gone from the basic foundation all the way up to the most advanced stuff. You officially have a brand new writing toolkit at your disposal. So let's do a quick recap of your path to becoming a sentence variety master.
This little table here is your cheat sheet. It puts the whole system in one place. You've got your simple sentences, bam, for a clear, direct idea. You've got compound sentences, perfect for connecting two ideas that are pretty much equal. And then you've got the heavy hitter, complex sentences, for showing those more complicated, nuanced relationships between ideas. And remember, the real goal, the secret to a high score, isn't just using one type. It's using a mix of all three.
So there you have it. You have the knowledge. You have the strategy. The only thing left to do now is practice. You got to put in the reps and build that muscle memory. So I'm going to leave you with one final question to get you rolling. Which one of these sentence types are you going to practice first?